back to Tactics Talk with Guido. Thanks for tuning in, guys. On this episode, I've got another one from Polecat. He's driving his Marder Tier 4 TD. It's a German Tier 4 TD, Casemate TD, but it's one of these early tier ones that are all open right there, so definitely vulnerable to artillery. Not a lot of armor on the Marder, but a pretty great little gun. Now, I don't usually do a lot of lower tier stuff. I'm happy to do replay reviews for anybody at any tier, but somewhere around tier 4 or 5 is where the meta in this game really starts to develop. Down at tier 3 and below, it's just kind of a rage fest, everyone blazing around. But even at this tier, it can be a lot like that. This game is not necessarily that way, though. People are playing it more or less, at least this map, more or less the way it is played in higher tiers. That being said, we're on Encounter Battle in Siegfried Line. Casemate TDs can be tricky. I advocate being aggressive in this game all the way around. It is hard to be super aggressive in a very small, very light TD, Casemate TD like this that really wants to just hide. And I concur with that. It's got not many hit points, a couple hits from some of these tanks. A couple of these tanks can more or less one-shot it with HE. So he does have to be very careful, and there is some arty to deal with. So they've loaded into this encounter mode, and I will go ahead and get this thing started as we talk. Polecat, let's take a look real quick at your setup down here. I would definitely get rid of at least some of that HE. That little tiny gun is not going to fire HE very well, or it's not going to do much damage. If you absolutely feel like, hey, maybe I can get a little shot in on a light-skinned tank or a TD like me, or maybe I want it for resetting the cap, then maybe carry 2 and transfer 3 of them either over to your gold APCR or to your regular AP. He's knocked down that tree. I guess he's taking a look at his awesomeness. I'm not sure what you're doing right there. Let's talk about positioning on this map for encounter. This is an okay spot. There's a Wolverine. Go ahead and shoot that. That's this guy. Where is he? There he is. I noticed that a little bit. I think you're challenging yourself or being challenged on occasion on getting zoomed in to the tank you want to shoot on. That's just something that you'll have to practice as you play along. I like that you're shooting into the bush right there. He's probably in there somewhere. And that, yeah, I agree with that. That's about the last one I would put in there. In fact, I might have not fired the very last one. You do have to watch out with this tank a little bit. It is somewhat ammo limited because it fires so fast. You're not carrying a whole bunch of ammo. Back to the positioning on this map. You can see that he's got binocs and a camo net, which I think is a pretty good setup. This kind of tank cannot carry vents because it's already ventilated. All the crew's out in the open anywhere. Anyway, they're all invisible. Otherwise, you'd see them hanging out right there. So he's got the camo net and the binocs. And positioning-wise, going back to that then, we're in this field, and that seems like a great idea for a TD, but there's already 2 guys out here anyway. So we're just sort of hanging out. And while I said I want you to be aggressive in a TD, and you do have to be careful about it, positioning matters. And for my money, Polecat, I'd be over here, hanging out back in this area here. Looking for shots like this guy, or guys trying to push through, or maybe shots through into the town. These 2 clowns have this locked down over here, and more than likely, there's not going to be a major push through the field. The Ram has moved up, there is the Wolverine, so you know there's at least 2 guys. But with you and the 2 Sioux, I'm assuming the other one's a Sioux as well. What do we got over here? Nope, T-67 and the Sioux. Hanging out in the field, not shooting, you can see that your team is getting rocked in the town. And this game is going to rely on the 3 TDs hanging out in the back corner winning it. And that's just not a great way for the team to win. It is not a great way for the team to win. It really counts on the enemy team being bad and a bit of luck. Now you see that Ram, you shoot him, he sees you. I would have shot and started moving away. I would have accepted 1, maybe 2, and then tried to get away. And holy cow, Wolverine got you, somehow only doing 120. You must have the small gun. And the Ram 2 doesn't end up killing you. So Polecat did admit when he sent this to me, it was a wild ending, and I got lucky. And absolutely, you sure did. But, as always, what I say, it's not necessarily that you got lucky, it's what you do with it. So here comes this T1 out here, looking for a shot. Nice job. You drop one on there, but your team has lost in the middle. Team is definitely lost in the middle, and we're going to hang out right here for quite a long time. I'm going to fast forward it. But like I said, I really think your best initial positioning would have been in here. These guys have the field covered, no problem. Take your gun, get over here where it's going to matter, and let these bozos hang out in the field all day long. The ram is an issue. It would have been nice if we could get him dead. But let's say you weren't there. You'd moved over here and you were helping these guys shoot down the dudes who were pushing through back from bushes in here. That would have been a great spot for you. And if this ram did move up here, these guys would have taken care of this guy. No problem. It's not like he's going to be able to come across this open area at all. And now you're in a bit of a pickle because this is an okay spot, but you really got to expose yourself pretty badly on either corner. The other problem with this is it's very exposed to artillery as well. So we're blasting away at these guys. Let's go a little bit faster here. Zing, zing, zing along, because this takes a while to develop. Now, I would have definitely been looking for that ram a little bit more aggressively. It would have been really nice if you could have taken him down, because that opens up the possibilities for you over on this flank. If indeed that's where you are, and you are on that flank, obviously. Once you clear him out, you've got a much better situation. I wouldn't have come that far around the corner. I would have just barely popped around the corner so that when you needed to run away, you could have got away much easier. So the ram's going over there. Alright, so let's talk about this real quick. Your positioning here within this spot. You know the ram's crossing, and more than likely, if he's going to come out, he's going to come out on this side of the bunker. And here you are way out in the open. You already know there's a Wolverine down here somewhere that shot you before. Why not come up on the other side of this bunker, use a little bit of hold down, that there's a little bit of concrete that goes downwards right there. Protect some of your tank, protect yourself from the Wolverine, make the artillery shot a little bit more difficult, and then wait for him to poke his face around the corner of that instead of hanging out right here where you're probably thinking, all right, I got a bush, but you know what? The second you fire, that guy's going to see you just like he did last time. There he is. Carefully getting the gun on him, shoot him. Shoot and bounce, and I'm lit, and holy cow, did I get lucky right there. 3 hit points. 3 hit points, and for whatever reason the Wolverine either didn't see you or didn't have a shot, or maybe you missed. Artillery misses, and we're down to 3 hit points. That would have been a great time to have gold loaded, because you knew you were going to be facing his turret. You needed a little bit more oomph to get through it right there. Track the T-28. Somebody else kills him, you get a little assist damage. That's fantastic. And now let's get back to working on that ram too. We got to get rid of this guy. He's our biggest problem out in the field right now. If I can get rid of him, then I have options. So we're going to speed this up because it takes a while to go. There we go. Now we're looking for him. Oh, a little too much. Let's talk about that push real quick there, Polecat. As I get my speed all messed up. As soon as I get back to real-time speed, we'll do it. Alright, so when you came around that corner, you sort of just drove around and presented yourself for death. You're like, I'm going to come around the corner. I want to see if he's there, but you went too far and you exposed yourself completely. What you want to do is creep around that corner. I can't do it now. But let's say we're creeping around this corner. Just creep around that corner with your gun already zoomed in, or your view already zoomed in, so that if you see the guy, you can quickly snap a shot off and then go back and hide. The way you did it over here is you just drove out in the open and came back, and you're extremely lucky you wasn't looking there. Same thing applies here. If you're going to come around the corner and look for shots, zoom in so you can see if you've got the shot. I think you probably missed one in there by messing around so much. There you go. You can back up a little bit, reverse side scrape. Be careful about pushing your back end around that corner, though. Same thing here. We come around. We're looking, but we're not really zoomed in ready. Lago's pushing in. And again, man, just really passive right here. You're counting on these guys to do something and win the game. If you're out here and your thought is to keep the ram too busy, it's not a great idea to turn around and stare this way, because that Lago's nowhere near you being able to shoot, right? In order for him to come over that ridge, he has to go through your Su-85, your T-67, and your Su-5. Somebody saw you over there, or he's just randomly shooting. You may have backed up too much. Again, man, you got to look. Is the Wolverine moving forward? Take a peek. Where is he? No, he's not there. Oh, there's that ram. Oh boy, he saw me. And somehow missed. And somehow missed. And the Wolverine gets a crit, no damage. So you are definitely living on borrowed time there, brother. Living on borrowed time. Shields up. And now you're hiding. So great, we got rid of the ram. You know the Wolverine is probably still in the same spot. He is showing no inclination of moving forward. Ooh, tree down. Don't know if you noticed that, but way over there in the trees where he's been hiding the whole time, he knocked a tree down trying to get away. T1 got the Su-85. And again, man, you have got to get in there and help the T-67. I'd have been moving a long time ago. Once that Ram 2 died, I'd have got out of that spot because I'm not going to get spotted by the Wolverine way back down there. Kill the Ram. I'd have hung out behind that bunker for enough potatoes to go dark, and then I'd have chogied on out of there what you're doing right now long ago. Get over there, help that 67, get into this backside here, the bushes back in this area back here, and now start working on the cap and supporting that 67. 67 does a great job. He gets in there and manages to kill the T1 with a T-67, so good on him for that. Got the IKVs probably on the cap, and you're alright because it's encounter. Not a huge rush. You do need to get moving there. You got 2 minutes and a half. So on an encounter, it takes forever to cap. And if it is still the IKV, which I imagine it is, then he's not doing a very smart thing. He gets found by the T-67 and lit. And now you have a great opportunity to get a shot in on this guy. He kills your 67, unfortunately. 1 hit point, holy cow, but it's not enough. Down he goes. And holy cow, that Wolverine. Looks like you hit him several times while you were blind shooting in there because he's down to almost no hit points. There you go. You're going to own that guy. Down he goes. Fantastic. You're lit. Yeah, keep moving. Try to make it as hard as possible for the artillery to hit you. Oh, one more jink. There you go. Maybe one more. He doesn't fire. So let's go fast. And off we go. Yeah, man, so 3 kills, 785. I've done a couple of video replay analyses for people lately. And one of the trend items that I'm seeing is just lack of aggression. Getting out there and trying to force the issue. And doing it at the appropriate time. So the whole discussion that I had at the beginning where, yes, this is a very light tank, and yes, you have to be very careful about how you run it. But there are times when you've got to start moving. And that final bit that you just did right there encapsulates what I just talked about on a micro level. There was aggression there because you noticed the opportunity and you needed to do it. So that thing had fired, so you pop out and you start taking shots and you don't let him off the hook. You keep firing until he's dead. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's one little tiny example of that. But you need to back that out to larger picture so that you're also playing that way strategically on the map. So that you are looking for those opportunities and moving forward and pushing and being aggressive when the opportunities present themselves while you understand and work to your tank's strengths and weaknesses. So in the case of this battle, I think a pretty decent initial position. Just look for some shots, kind of hang out there for a bit. But there was a point at which you had to say, you know what, they're not coming through the field. I have got to move my gun somewhere else on this map where it matters, where I can be of assistance to the team. And based on all the lights and what your team was doing, that was over here. On the edge, back in the back edge here. Screw those guys. If people want to camp, I always say this, if people want to camp out in fields like that and do nothing in the game, by all means, red guy, do that. Fantastic. Do that all game. I'll deal with you later after I've killed all the guys that actually are trying to play or who are trying to be a factor in the game. Once I kill them, I'll come looking for you and take you down too. You don't want to leave flanks completely open. You don't want to let guys come in behind you. That's not what I'm saying. But if a team shows a propensity for several guys taking themselves out of the game, I'm not going to force myself onto them and get them into the game. Let them hang out and be dopey. Go to where the fight is, add your gun and your weight to the important battle with your teammates, and then clean those clowns up later. Alright, man, hope this helped. Hope everybody else liked what they saw. If you did, make sure you subscribe. Keep the videos coming or the replays coming. If you want me to do a replay analysis, go ahead and send it in. If you only want it to be text, I can do that as well, or I can make a video of it like this. If it's something you don't really want the public to see, make sure you let me know. That's all fine and well. And also, if you've got a great video, you Radley Walters, you have a pulls metal, you do something crazy, I'll take those, as well as the old cliff dives or people rolling down hills or fun stuff like that. All right, guys, that is all I have on this episode of Tactics Talk. As always, we will see you.